Hey everybody, it's Elliott here with Providence Hill. Welcome to another edition of Chat and Chill with Providence Hill. We're so excited. This couldn't be one of my favorite topics because honestly, we're here talking about calendars. You guys have been getting the annual calendars for a long time. And I'm here with two of the calendar greats. John McGurn,
hello,
aka Jay Bird, agent here with Providence Hill. So maybe tell a little about you and your history.
Goodness. I thought you were going to ask Denise first. Well, we're all here today because we're celebrating the 20th year of doing the calendars, the famous real estate calendars that are taking Richmond by storm over the last 20 years. And we'll tell you how that got going today. I've been a real estate agent since 1995. It's crazy. And it's been a blessing through and through. God put me where I should be, and I'm grateful for that.
Amen to that.
Just a lot of great memories, especially when it comes to the calendars. You're going to hear about them in a few minutes.
I love it. I love it. Nobody brings energy quite like John McGurn.
Yes.
All right. So to my left, y'all's right, if you will. I've got Denise Spoenlein, who owns Custom Illustrations. And we've known Denise for a long time. Have gone to church with Denise for a long time. And you started this business when?
I have no idea. I remember...
True artist right there.
I was working at VDOT, actually, in marketing and communications, and Jay Bird and I somewhere in the mid-90s, John asked me to do a sketch of somebody's house for a closing gift.
Okay.
And that's where it all started.
And so back in the mid-90s, Jay Bird comes to you and says, hey, I want a sketch of a pen and ink sketch for one of my clients for one of their closings. Mm-hmm. And that spurred you into doing that sketch, but also doing many more sketches because you've done a lot of sketches for me. You've done a lot of sketches for John over the years. So talk about how did that snowball? Because it obviously one sketch turned into a whole business for you. So tell a little bit about how that kind of snowballed.
I appreciate many referrals from John McGurn, for sure. And then people started asking for a second home or a sketch for their parents when they were retiring.
Right.
Weddings, I started doing gifts for weddings, or also like a guest signing book.
Okay.
People can sign the mat. So that's another thing I've done. And then I got into the Richmond toile, which for a short stint when Williams and Cheryl was open, I sold fabric there.
Okay. And
then we still have a few items that have Richmond scenes, but they've been updated.
What is Richmond toile? What is toile?
This is it's an old French. It's not only for fabric, but for showing different scenes. So Richmond toile has landmarks that we know and love of Richmond.
So you've got some products, obviously, and you do sketches for people. What other things will you do? You don't just do homes. I've heard you say, I'll do a whole cityscape, so I'll do all kinds of stuff. So what are some other things that people have asked you, or what are even the funniest things someone's asked you to draw at some point over the years?
The funniest thing was I did a whole wedding theme for someone for a wedding planner where they had basically a wedding toile. So they had where they got engaged, where they met, where they grew up, and they asked me to draw their dog on their bicycle because as part of their wedding toile.
Okay.
The dog was riding the bicycle?
Yeah. Like most dogs do. Yeah, circus dog. Yeah, absolutely.
Riding.
Okay. All right, so we've got to this point where your business is starting to expand. You obviously have asked Jay Bird to do sketches for his clients, and this is mid-90s, and we're starting to push towards the late 90s, and you're starting to do a ton of these for John. And then how did this whole idea for this magical puppy come about, this magical calendar? How did this come about between the two of you?
Well, I have to pass that to John because I was remembering that the first year that he mentioned it, we had 12 sketches, which seemed like a lot at the time.
Right. Now that's funny.
Now it's a big process to choose who's in the calendar. But I'll pass to you, John.
Well, the way we started the whole gizmo was I was really so thankful that people would actually ask me to help them buy and sell a house.
That's right. That's right.
And so it was a big deal because it's a big investment. It's a big deal where you're going to live, and so really invested time and tried to be really good at helping people. And so they would know that they could trust me. So at the end of all that, because as you know, every transaction has a couple minds in there.
Sure.
And part of our job is to look through the transaction and down the road. Where's there a mine out there? We don't want anybody to step on the minefield. So
You probably stepped on a few of them
I did.
for your clients.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Several injuries due to that.
That's right.
That's why I'm wearing glasses now.
Yeah.
So to get to closing is a big deal. Very grateful.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to leave a remembrance of something I figured would be of value to my client.
Right.
But the first thing I came up with was a doormat. A doormat. The whole idea sounds kind of dumb. People walking over top of a doormat.
Sure.
Wiping their feet on your doormat. You know what I mean?
I do.
So I would give doormats that said welcome to them. They could put it at their front door. And then about 2-3 years later, I went by a house that I had given a doormat to. The same doormat was on the front stoop. It was so nasty looking. It was dark. It had fungus all over it. And I thought to myself, when they walk in their front door, do they look at that mat and say, dang, John McGurn gave us that gift. What a lousy gift. So I said, we got to come up with something new.
Yeah.
About that time, we saw that lady that does the calendars for Richmond, Eliza somebody.
Liza asking, yeah.
At Christmas, you would see them in the shops, and they'd have a little splash of color on the pen and ink drawings. I said, hey, Denise, what do you think if these sketches that we're doing and giving as a gift, we turn them into a calendar and give them away? So we started giving these away as closing gifts. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, wouldn't it be cool if we could remember a year for the calendars? Never knowing the calendar would become a big deal in a lot of people's minds. Still don't understand it. People call, I'm sure they call you too, and say, it's almost New Year's. And are we going to get a calendar this year? You say, what? Do people still use paper calendars? Yes, ma'am, you're still on the list. I'm just a little slow. Giddy there this year.
That's right. So what's funny is, I think we should probably give people kind of an inside scoop on how this actually comes about, because it doesn't just happen like that. So, it's funny. It's like this internal clock goes off in my mind about October 1st. And it's like, I got to get with Denise. We got to get with Denise to start going through this whole process. So we always meet at Denise's house, and she's always got a little accoutrement of little nuts and chocolates and water and coffee and everything like that. And we lay out all these sketches on the table, right? And at this point, you're right. Like early on, it was like 12 felt like a big deal. But now there's 60, 70, 80 sketches, and we're like trying to figure out which ones make the most sense. And we have always tried to, represent that we sell houses all over town, from Goochland to Hanover to the city to Chesterfield to Henrico. We do a lot of different stuff. It's not just, we don't concentrate in one little area. And so we put these sketches out on the table, and we hone over them, and we talk through them and what would make the most sense. And it's not always the biggest and best houses. We try to pick interesting looking houses in different areas, and that's always a fun thing. It's always kind of fun to sit at the table and kind of parse through all that, and it's always fun. Denise always has her sort of allotted ones that she picks up front that she really likes, and goes through them and says like, okay, I think these are really interesting looking houses. What do you think? And then we obviously have our take and say, yeah, these a couple of these look great here. Denise, we have some ideas on this, and so it's always a fun process. And so then what happens after that? Like we pick the sketches, and you kind of created the whole sort of the guts of the calendar, the kind of this part of it, with our help, obviously, but you've come up with some fun and interesting dates and things over the years. So tell us a little about how that kind of come about. Why not just a normal, run-of-the-mill calendar? You've got some fun stuff in there. So tell us how that kind of came about.
I just started looking on the internet for funny, and there's actually a website, I think it's called Wacky Holidays.
Okay.
And you all had fun with making events on some of these days. Or John McGurn, I think the No Socks Day. Right. You started actually not wearing socks on that day, and people year after year people would ask.
Left-hander day, we turn it into kiss a lefty.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't there a bald and free day
There is a bald and free day.
that we've
Yeah.
had on there
Yeah.
for a while?
Yeah, Elliott came up with the NCAA tournament party,
Yeah.
which we would promote on the
Right.
calendar.
That's right. Yeah, there's some fun things, and
Joey's hot
Pie
dog.
Joey's
day.
hot dog, pie day. And so, and then also, so we got these fun dates to it, and people will always like say like, oh, I'll get a funny text from like one of my clients, like yesterday was whatever day, and it's just kind of funny. Like I'm like, to your point, like people are actually looking at this and actually like using it, and it's funny that like we get these remembrances throughout the year. Someone might text me and say, hey, are we still doing Joey's hot dogs next Wednesday? And I'm like, well, yeah, it's on the calendar, and thanks for reminding me.
Do people ask you about the initials?
Well, I was gonna say, how did that go? Because that was already in place when I joined. So like this whole adventure. So tell me about how that you guys came about the putting the dates and things like that in there with the initials.
Those are birthdays, in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
And anniversaries.
Yeah,
I don't even know. We just started from the beginning.
yeah. We just came up
Maybe
with
it
one
was
day.
so that we wouldn't forget our family members' birthdays, or we didn't want them to forget ours.
Yeah,
I don't
there you
know.
go.
Probably.
We'd never
Yeah.
forget. The other thing we did was we love our country. We love the way God has blessed our country, and so we have a few patriotic days in there
Yeah.
that we want people to remember. Not that they would forget, but sometimes we'll put a little slogan in there to go along with it. So it was great. You know, also, like Elliott was saying, we would have these big meetings over at Denise's with her delicious coffee and nuts and stuff talking. And it'd always be because Elliott and I would have biases. Well, I need to get this client. They're a great client. This was a sweet house. Let's put that in. Elliott said, yeah, well, I got two like that. What are we going to do? And then Denise would talk about, well, architecturally, they're not that great. Architecturally, come on, Denise. But I would have, you probably have too, Elliott, had clients call and say, very, very subtly. You know, you say, hey, how you doing? How's the house? How's your kids? How's school going? Blah, blah, blah. And they said, yeah, hey, I'm calling because my wife, Teresa, said, yeah, how old? She's great. She's wondering if our house could be one of the houses of the month in the calendar.
It's funny too. I can vividly remember clients posting on social media after the fact. They got the calendar, and it was like they were in September or whatever. And in September they would post, and they're like, "Our house is looking sexy in September," like, and they would post that their house, part of the calendar, and that was always like a very funny thing that sketch in the calendar. That was, people always thought it was like very funny, and I appreciated that. To Jaber's point earlier, like people were actually hanging these up and looking at them, and it's also really fun to go over to clients' houses and see them hanging up.
Yeah.
And I see that all the time where we'll go stop by our client's house and I'll just be walking through and I'm like, oh gosh, there's the calendar. And I don't think they've got markings in it and stuff like that. They're actually keeping dates in it. So it's not like they put it up just because like, oh, Elliott's coming over, or Jaber's coming over. So
And you go in, they'll see that the framed photograph is somewhere in the house. And you say, well, wow, that's good because we were trying to create something that would be of value to them and a remembrance. The house they're going to live in, the good memories, and that house is on the wall. And then you start to think, wow, think of all the people that come through this house and see that and might ask about it.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that?
Oh, and we've had many clients ask us, to your point earlier, hey, I love this sketch. I would love to get one done for my parents' house or whatever. And so I've given your name out a million times to people like that are interested in having their house or first date location or whatever it is, vacation home, and you've done all those for those people too. So it's been a fun. It's been a thing that has lots of tentacles. It's spawned off on so many different directions for you as well. So hopefully that's been a real value. It's been a value add to us.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So all right, so we've been doing this for 20 years. I have not been doing this for 20. You two have been doing this for 20 years. I've been a part of it for a while.
You've been doing it for 10.
Yeah, for a long time. And I would love to hear, there's got to be funny stories about delivering. There's got to be some funny stories that come along with that. For 20 years of delivering these calendars, you've got to have a couple of great little vignettes.
Yeah.
So any funny?
Well, the good and the bad and the ugly.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it
what
all.
The worst part for me is starting.
It is.
I hate stopping to get gas in my car. I just think it's the biggest waste of time. But you got to do it.
Yeah, you do.
Just like these calendars got to get delivered, right?
Yeah.
But there's so many other things that I want to do, could do, think I should be doing. And so you got all these boxes of calendars. Like my delivery schedule is 200 houses. So just the thought of starting that is hard. Once I get going, I'm pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
Like today, my goal is, I hope my wife's not watching this. Well, it's not live, is it? If I can deliver an hour's worth of calendars, I'm going to smoke a cigar later today.
So you got little rewards along the way. That's good.
That's right.
Well, my funny, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but talking about Jaybird getting started, and it's always very funny. You know, we've known each other for obviously a long time and been in a relationship for a long time and doing this for a long time, and so he'll call me on December 31st or December 30th, and I'm like, Jaybird, how's Christmas? What are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm out delivering calendars right now, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, God.
You've been done.
I've been done
for weeks because he's efficient.
I'm efficient with it, and I like to get mine done by the 15th or so. I don't want to have it hanging over Christmas. But this guy, he will be out there after New Year's delivering calendars. So it's very funny. But anyway, keep going. Go back to the good, bad, and ugly.
Third week of January.
That's right.
I'll write a note across January. Sorry, you only got 12 and a half months in this calendar. But it's good. A couple of times until we had MapQuest.
Yeah.
Oh,
using a paper schedule with addresses, which I still do. The wonderful Molly Greenhill's agreed to help me do a MapQuest thing this year. I will deliver calendars through a certain neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere out in Hanover, and 6-7 houses, and then the next week I'm driving around. I said, "Son of a gun! I forgot Joe Blow's house out there in Montpelier."
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Or I think I get too cocky. I know this neighborhood. I know who I've sold in here, and I'll drop one off, drop another one off, drive down, go to the next. And it hits me. That's the wrong cul-de-sac.
That's right.
And I have to backtrack and steal them off the porch. Yeah, that's great. I've never had anybody come out and say, "What are you doing on my porch?" Or like that, Have you?
I have taken pictures
Yeah.
of houses to sketch them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
People wonder,
There
what
are
are you doing?
certain times where there's a tree or a shrub in the middle.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
And so I've driven across the street, parked, snuck up, and taken pictures from here and there. And I've had people come out. What are you doing out here?
What do you say?
Sorry, just a little surprise.
Yeah.
I love it.
You're
That's
busy.
hysterical. Yeah. Keep moving. Well, so talking about the ugly, occasionally, like this has happened to, I'm sure, John and myself. It's definitely happened to me. I'm assuming it's happened to John. You drive up to deliver a calendar, and there's a for sale sign in the yard.
Ah, it's horrible. That is the worst.
And it's not your.
it's not your
It's
name.
not your for sale.
Delivering
Yeah.
a calendar to their house because they've been a faithful, loyal client, and you've been working hard for them even the years you haven't sold their house. And there's a sign in the yard.
That's right.
Another agent.
That's right.
Selling the house.
That's the worst.
What do you do?
I keep moving. I don't put it there. I just keep moving.
Yeah, well, I won't tell you what I do.
There's got to be some other, what stories have you heard? Because I'm sure you hear from the people like, oh my gosh, I got a calendar from John or Elliott or somebody else here at Providence Hill, and you're in it, and you're like, do you ever hear stories from people like, oh yeah, Jaybird and Elliott dropped off the calendar the other day or anything like that? Do you ever hear stories from people who you run across that are our clients or things like that?
None come to mind.
Okay, none come to mind.
But I have a visual of, I feel like last year, John started taking pictures of people's front door
Yes.
with the calendar in front.
Yeah.
And somehow there's a picture of a
Porta-John.
Porta-John.
Yeah, with a wreath on it and a calendar on the doorknob.
Classic.
Is there a story
Great
behind
doors in Richmond. I just started thinking I love the look of nice architectural doors. So as I would sneak up on the porch, and the reason we sneak up It's not because we don't want to be friendly and talk. But we got 200 calendars to deliver. We got to keep rolling. Sneak up on the porch, leaning against the front door, and say, dang, that's a really great looking door. Like the McKays.
Yeah.
Let me take a picture of that. And then sometimes I think I even text it to them, hey, your calendar's at your front door. But then I started thinking,
But I'm in the car.
Yeah.
I've already
Good
left.
seeing you. Merry Christmas. Don't come out. But I just started thinking about it. So I was actually at my son's, Jonathan and Shannon's house in South Carolina. And they had a house across the street is under construction. There's a porta-john in front of the house.
Right.
So, I said, we need to spruce up that porta-john door. It's Christmas. So Shannon was undecorated, and I said, let me have that wreath, please. And, later on, she says, Jaybird, that's my wreath over there on the porta-john. And just took a picture of that, and then looked back at all the pictures that I'd taken that last Christmas as we delivered calendars, and just said, why not do an Instagram post?
Yeah, it was great. Well, what's fun about this whole thing is that the three of us get to do this together, which is really fun. Like it's an annual rite of passage, it feels like. But it's, we spend October and we're working on it and we're doing additions and revisions and all kinds of stuff. And Denise is getting them to us and we're getting back the corrections and changing things. And it's really a team, of people trying to put together this product. And obviously John and Denise have been doing it for 20 years. And it's been something that people here in Richmond have loved for a long time. And they've loved it because I think we've put love into it, right? Because we've really enjoyed doing it together and doing it for them. And it's definitely not, it's not easy. There's a lot of work involved in it. For you, for us, delivering, to John's point, gassing up the car and driving all over town to hand deliver these. We don't just throw them in the mail. we hand deliver these puppies. And it's done because we do love you guys and we love the process of serving you all. We love our clients, right? And it's a big deal for us. And Denise is a big part of that whole process in terms of the calendar, but as well as the closing gifts that we give out to people and things like that. And she's a really big part of our team, basically, if you will. And so I'm just thankful for you. I'm thankful for the ways in which you've sketched so many houses for us. And you've done them in quick times and slow times, and you've done it with care and love. And I know our clients have really appreciated that.
Yeah.
And that makes us appreciate it because we want our clients to be taken care of and loved and served, and you're helping us in that process. So we're very thankful for you. I just, it's a labor of love for us. We've enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys here in Richmond have enjoyed it as much as we've had doing it and laughing over the funny dates and times and things like that. And so we want to keep doing it, and we want to keep serving you all, and we'd love to keep doing that in a fun way. And we want to keep doing this calendar, and hopefully we'll have a 40th edition at some point.
Wow, that'd be great.
That'd be great, right?
How old will you be in for?
Me?
20 years.
I'll be 62.
I'll be 95. I'll be there. I maybe have a cane or a walker, and I'll be delivering that calendar to you.
I like it. So Denise will keep doing it for us. We'll need you to keep doing it for us for a long time. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to give you a little pitch here. If you want something drawn, Denise would love to do it for you.
Yes.
And where should they go?
For Christmas.
Yeah, where should they go? Or how should they contact you?
I'm on Instagram, Custom Illustrations RVA, or you can email me customillustrations@gmail.com
Okay.
to talk about a project.
Show them one of your bags there, Denise. I love the bags. Look at those bags.
I don't know where.
So Denise has got this great bag that she can put different kinds of drawings in or different pieces of artwork for you. So she's done a really nice job, and it's all first class. So Denise, we really appreciate you being here. We appreciate you loving and serving our clients for so many years, and we want to keep doing this, right? We want to keep doing this. So what we need from you guys is to keep referring us great business so we can keep doing houses and we can keep Denise in business, right?
Thank you.
And we can keep serving you guys and dropping off these calendars for years to come. We want to keep doing that in a fun and exciting way. Jabber, you got any last words for us?
No, God is good. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. Jesus is the reason for this season. Three of us know that. Our company's based on treating people as the gospel would have us treat people better than ourselves. So
Yeah.
just like Jesus has done for us.
Yeah,
So
amen.
thank you for all the business.
Yep, absolutely. And please follow us on our social media sites. at Providence Hill RVA on Instagram, as well as phrehomes.com if you're on the internet. So just come find us, come check us out. And if there's anything we can do to help you guys, you know where to find us. Look us up. We'd love to serve you guys. Have a great, happy holidays and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you.